Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun just vanished? Not forever, just for 24 hours. A cosmic day off. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But let's actually break down the science behind this incredible thought experiment. What would a day without the sun truly be like for us here on Earth? First, let's get one thing straight. We wouldn't even know it was gone for the first 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how long it takes for sunlight to travel from the sun to us. So, for a brief, blissful period, everything would seem completely normal. But then, it would happen. The sky would instantly snap to black. Not like a normal night, but a profound, star-filled darkness, because there'd be no sunlight scattering in our atmosphere to create twilight. The moon would also disappear from view, as it only shines by reflecting the sun's light. The only lights left would be the stars, the faint glow of distant galaxies, and our own city lights. Almost immediately, the temperature would begin to plummet. The sun is like a giant, cosmic radiator, and we've just switched it off. Without its warmth, the Earth's surface would start radiating its heat away into space, and fast. Within the first hour, average global temperatures would drop by several degrees. It would feel like a sudden, intense cold front has moved in everywhere on the planet at once. By the end of our 24-hour blackout, the average surface temperature would likely fall to around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 18 Celsius. Some places, like deserts that cool quickly, would get much colder. Coastal areas would fare slightly better because the oceans are massive heat reservoirs. But it would still be a brutal, planet-wide winter. Of course, the darkness and the cold are just the beginning. The biggest, most fundamental process on our planet would grind to a halt. Photosynthesis. Plants, algae, and cyanobacteria are the foundation of almost every food chain. They use sunlight to create energy. Without the sun, that process stops dead. For a single 24-hour period, most larger plants would survive, kind of like they do overnight. But microscopic life, like phytoplankton in the oceans, which produce a huge chunk of our oxygen, would start to die off in massive numbers. It's a scary thought, but for just one day, our oxygen supply would be fine. We have enough in the atmosphere to last for thousands of years. The real problem is the food chain. What about us humans? Well, panic would set in pretty quickly. Imagine the entire world plunged into darkness simultaneously. Power grids would be strained to their absolute limits as everyone flips on their lights. Mass communication would be chaotic. People would rush to find warmth and safety. Fortunately, most of our infrastructure, particularly our heating systems, would still work as long as we have electricity and fuel. For 24 hours, we could probably tough it out, huddled indoors. But the psychological impact would be immense. Our entire biological rhythm, our circadian clock, is tied to the sun's cycle. A day of complete darkness would be incredibly disorienting. And then there's the biggest effect of all, one we haven't even touched on yet: gravity. The sun doesn't just give us light and heat, its immense gravitational pull is what keeps Earth and all the other planets in their orbits. If the sun truly disappeared, its gravity would vanish with it. Remember that 8-minute- and -20-second delay. That also applies to gravity. So, at the exact same moment the lights go out, Earth would stop orbiting. It would fly off into space in a straight line, like a stone released from a slingshot, traveling at its orbital speed of about 67,000 miles per hour, or 107,000 kilometers per hour. So now we have a rogue planet, hurtling through the dark, getting colder by the minute. Our 24-hour journey would take us about 1.6 million miles, or 2.6 million kilometers, further into the cosmos. That might sound like a lot, but in the grand scale of the solar system, it's not a huge distance. We wouldn't crash into Mars or anything like that. We'd just be adrift. The other planets, from Mercury to Neptune, would also be flying off in their own straight lines. A solar system suddenly life on the surface would become a desperate struggle for survival against the encroaching cold. Most small animals and surface-dwelling insects would freeze. Larger animals might survive by seeking shelter, but it would be a brutal challenge. The oceans would begin to freeze over, starting with a layer of ice on the surface. But here's a fascinating bit of hope. Life deep beneath the waves, clustered around hydrothermal vents, wouldn't even notice the sun was gone. These ecosystems don't rely on sunlight. They get their energy from the chemical reactions fueled by the Earth's internal heat. For them, it would just be another Tuesday. Life, in some form, would persist. But what happens when the 24 hours are up? Let's say, by some miracle, the sun just pops back into existence in the exact same spot it left. After another 8 minutes and 22 seconds, the light and gravity would return. Sunlight would flood back into our sky, but we wouldn't be where we were supposed to be. Earth would have drifted 1.6 million miles away. The sun's gravity would grab hold of us again, but our old stable orbit would be gone. We'd be pulled into a new, highly elliptical path. This would create catastrophic seasonal swings. Our new closest approach to the sun would be scorchingly hot, and our farthest point would be even colder than our current winters. The climate as we know it would be permanently broken. The sudden return of solar energy would also create chaos in the atmosphere. The extreme temperature difference between the frigid surface and the incoming solar radiation would generate the most powerful storms and winds the planet has ever seen. The ice that formed on the oceans would begin to melt, causing massive flooding along coastlines. It would be a violent, turbulent return to normal. The ecological damage would be immense. Many plant species wouldn't be able to handle the sudden thaw and extreme temperature swings. The die-off of phytoplankton would have disrupted the entire marine food web. It would take centuries, maybe even millennia, for the planet's ecosystems to stabilize into a new, unpredictable state. So, a 24-hour vacation for the sun would be nothing short of a catastrophe. We'd be thrown into a deep freeze, cast adrift in space, and then yanked back into a chaotic new orbit that would permanently alter our world. It's a powerful reminder of how incredibly dependent we are on that big, beautiful star at the center of our solar system. It does so much more than just light up our day. It holds our world together. This whole thought experiment really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? It shows how fragile and perfect the balance of our solar system is. We live on this little rock, in a perfect little pocket of space, all thanks to our reliable, consistent sun. So next time you're enjoying a sunny day, maybe take an extra second to appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching and exploring this cosmic what-if with me. If you enjoyed this journey into the hypothetical, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into science and the universe. Let me know in the comments what other crazy scenarios you'd like me to explore. See you next time.